Hey everyone, this is Lydia, and today I'm outside at the Middletown Commons, formerly the Middletown Mall in Whitehall, West Virginia. This mall was built in the 1970s, and it was the first enclosed mall in West Virginia. In 2019, the mall closed, the interior storefronts were removed, and the mall was renovated into an open-air shopping center where you access stores from the outside. So it looks like a regular shopping plaza and not an indoor mall. However, there is still an interior section, and it's accessible, and it has the old mall floors, so we're going to check that out. This is actually the first of two interior sections. They both have signs that you'll see right here on the left, welcoming mall walkers. I was told by folks who've lived in the area for a long time that there was public outcry from the mall walkers when redevelopment plans were announced. So and there are old maps, which is obviously amazing. You can't see this one super well. It's pretty faint, but there are some easier to see ones. About 10 years ago, this was a super dead traditional mall, and Dan Bell, who's like the patron saint of filming dead malls, filmed an amazing video of it, and I will link this in the description because it's pretty incredible to see what it used to look like. Some of the original anchors were Sears, and the Sears had an auto center and a restaurant, W.T. Grant, Parsons Sounders, which was a local department store that eventually became part of Stone & Thomas. And by the 80s, the anchors were Sears, GB, and Hess's department store. And as you can see from that signage, the anchors today are Aldi, Michael's, Harbor Freight, Five Below, and there are like small businesses and stuff. So on the left here, there's like a community board thing. Very cool. There's also indoor seating, which we'll see in a moment, which I guess if you bought food from the restaurants outside, you might use that. But again, the developers who redeveloped this use the term demalled. So everything here pretty much has an external entrance. A few of the restaurants at this shopping plaza do open into this indoor mall area. I have no idea how you would know that there is an indoor area and that you could use it. It sort of feels illegal to be in here. Like, this is a liminal space. This is Backrooms vibes. I shopped at stores in this plaza like 10 times before I knew that this mall was here, this interior mall section. And someone told me, hey, you can get into the old indoor part of it, or the remaining indoor part of it, and I had no idea. So in the 70s, this section of the mall would have had a Scruffy's Pet Shop, the Carriage Shop, which sold fancy clothes. This on the right here today, where it said Pierpont, that is owned by the local community college. It's where they do culinary arts stuff. We passed a co-working space on the left, and this is some sort of like medical facility. So also in the 70s, in this part of the mall, there was a Leeds Candy, a Teeks Fine Shoes, a clothing store called Chess King, and a Gordon's Jewelers. Again, another like sitting area. Who is this for? And another sitting area. Who is this for? So according to the folks on deadmalls.com, this mall fell on hard times in the 90s because of Crown American, its owner, who let the mall fall into disrepair. And I think a lot of other people have knowledge, thoughts, and feelings on Crown American as an owner. I don't think they exist anymore. By the 90s, in this area, there were also many other shopping malls that were bigger and newer, in Morgantown, in Bridgeport, West Virginia, and in 2002, the mall had 2 vacant anchors, so it went into foreclosure. Pin Oak, a local company, acquired the mall and got it back on its feet. So through the 2000s, the mall did fine, but many of the tenants in the 2000s were not traditional retail stores. They were office-based tenants like the state of West Virginia, the DMV, and you can Google this, I swear I'm not lying, the FBI. The FBI had offices in the dying mall. I don't know. That blows my mind. Okay, so to get to the second interior section, you walk through this open air but covered area. Another welcome mall walkers sign on the left. Another mall map here on the right. Amazing. This section is far more backrooms, liminal space. It's deader than the other side. The actual exterior of this mall, which we will drive through in a couple minutes, is not at all dead. It's hopping. So I used a couple online resources to do some research on this mall. Mall Hall of Fame .blogspot.com had a lot of information, and they said that occupancy was at 50% in the 2010s, and then Pin Oak went under. And in 2018, a new company bought the mall and began the redevelopment. They also fixed the parking lot. I guess the parking lot and the floor of the mall were pretty bad, according to people on like deadmalls.com and the resources that the Mall Hall of Fame blogspot site used. There's also a Middletown Mall Memories Facebook group, and a person named Thomas Vlasic said he was the Foot Locker manager, and Foot Locker was in this part of the mall from 88 to 92. And in this section of the mall, at that time, there would have been a Radio Shack, a Claire's, a Deb, and a Stone & Thomas on one side, and then Foot Locker, Brooks, Thrift Drug, and Orange Julius on the other side. And on the right here, you can see that there's nothing in those places, storefronts, and they put these photo montages up of mining. This is a pretty big mining area. So we're in Marion County, West Virginia. There's a lot of mining. There's actually underground about a mile from here, there's a 700-degree fire burning in an old coal mine. That is sort of pretty creepy. There's a Five Below. You get there from obviously the exterior entrance, but that's the back of the Five Below. This is a gym. It wasn't open right then, but it is open in life. It's a mall, but it's not a mall. But it is a mall, but it's not a mall. And that's the back of, I don't know what, maybe Michael's? There also used to be a Joanne Fabrics in this mall. Rest in peace. Yeah. It feels like you're not supposed to be in here. The signs on the outside definitely didn't even say no filming. It just said don't skateboard or do drugs here. So if you're a mall enthusiast and you are interested in this, it's definitely accessible. Another seating area. So that's like a Mexican restaurant right there. And I guess you could just sit there and eat. Someone also said the mall was renovated in the 90s, and that's when the skylights went in. There are also other entrances to this kind of like backrooms area. The Middletown Mall Memory Facebook group, the folks in there, I don't know what this restaurant is. The folks in the Facebook group mentioned that Nittany Mall in College Township, Pennsylvania was a Crown American mall and had an almost identical layout to the Middletown Mall. And it appears to have been not demalled. I love this. Just blank poster holder. Anyway, Sal, if you're a mall person, you're familiar with Sal, who films a lot of malls. He has an X-Log on YouTube on the Nittany Mall that I have not yet watched, but plan to, because I'm interested in what this looked like. Oh, this is my favorite part. So this is a sign so the Bob Evans is still there to the right, but the Save-A-Lot, Shop and Save, and TJ's Restaurant are no longer at this mall, and they have just left that signage up. So now we're driving around the exterior of the mall. I believe this would have been in the 70s. There was a place called the Working Man's Store. And this is where Parsons Souders, the local based department store, used to be, and then that became Stone and Thomas. And there was a Lerner Shops that was here throughout the 70s and the 80s. The GB department store was also in this area. I think before it was GB, it was J.G. McRory. So that's the area we went in. It says that Middletown Commons logo that's on both sides. So I had parked on the other side and walked into those weird interior sections. There was a Jones department store in the 70s over here. Now it's like an urgent care. Pretty cool MRI bus. There are also a lot of outbuildings. So there's like that Bob Evans, and then a hotel. There's a Taco Bell over on this side. We'll pass like a dispensary and a bar. Yeah, I think that's the bar and the dispensary. One of them might be a hotspot. The bar might be a hotspot, which is a West Virginia thing where you can do like video gambling. This whole section here on the left is where the Sears was. I read online that they knocked down the Sears, what was the Sears Auto Center. Yeah, you can see like the Taco Bell. Maybe there's an Arby's over there. I don't know. There's also apartments and houses that are going up now too. This is like a poppin' area. There's a Walmart across the street. Okay, so this area is what Sears, the building Sears was in, or the section of the mall that was Sears. And it was a Hills at some point after that, and then Hills went bankrupt. And we're coming up on that middle section again. Yeah, so that's where I parked, and I went in to the left and then the right. And in there now there's a pizza place, a sushi place. There used to be a candy store, but it closed. A local soap maker, a yoga studio. And now here are some of the anchors. In this section, we're getting towards where W.T. Grant used to be, which changed to Hess's department store in the 1980s. So yeah, if you're into this mall, definitely check out Dan Bell's video on the Middletown Mall and Sal's video on the Nittany Mall. And this is the exit sign. And thanks so much for watching.